Welcome back, guys. From that short little break, we are going to go into the second set of the evening. We have Dogok and Ryuman now kind of duking their way into seeing who gets to go to the losers bracket and then into next week's matches. So let's talk a little bit about these players.
So both of these members are from Team Zombie, so we have a Team Zombie match going on. Yes.
Okay. Well, of these two members then of Team Zombie, who's the more popular player?
Definitely Dogok. He has been around for a much longer time, and Ryuman is more of a newer player to the Team Zombie, and I don't think he made any big tournament achievement yet, whereas Dogok has a lot. And last week I told you guys this, but Dogok has made it to the HearthStone Masters Korea Season 6, and he's the only person to make it through both of these tournaments simultaneously.
That is quite the achievement for this young gentleman, and he's definitely the one who got to be on the receiving side of the Astral Communion deck yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, if anyone's got mental fortitude, it's definitely this guy.
Definitely. He was just laughing everything off, and he was just cool and admitting the defeat, and he was actually the one who saw the possibility for a draw.
Yeah.
And none of us saw that, so that was very impressive as well.
So you know what he needs to do? He needs to drink a hot 6.
Okay.
I think that's the key here, is to have a hot 6, and you know, that'll make the RNG gods very happy. But you know what? Let's go straight into it. Here is Ryuman from Team Zombie, like you said. His win rate a little bit less than the other two players that we saw today at 64, but 64% is still amazingly great.
Yeah, that is just because these two guys are from the losers match, and the other two that we have seen from the previous match, they were from the winners rounds. So those two are undefeated, unlike these two players that we're gonna see.
Okay, yeah, so here we go, qualifying history. I mean, he lost to Icarus again, 3-2. And so he's here now playing against Dogok. And yeah, he lost to Tail 3-2 yesterday. This is the guy. I hope he got some rest last night, was able to rethink what had happened and come in with some strong decks. Hopefully he's not too shaken by that.
Hopefully, and Handsome Guy is on his way to the Inven studio to have some drink with him afterwards.
That's really nice of his teammates. I love the fact that the teammates come to the studio to really cheer on all the members that are playing, and it's just a good moral support, you know?
Yeah, and after that interview, the Team Overload members were talking about Icarus, and they were like yelling at Icarus in a half-joking way, and they were like, how could you not see that lethal? You're ashamed to our team. But really, they're just saying this because they love Icarus.
Oh, of course. And that kind of banter is definitely something that helps you get through these tournaments. All right, so here's the community vote, guys. Just like you, it looks like Dogok is a fan. The community is a fan
favorite
of Dogok for sure.
Definitely. I just like Dogok as a player. He's just so consistent. He's very calm. He has the guts to laugh off what happened yesterday.
He does.
Yeah, and
so
I'm really rooting for this guy.
I saw that his name, Dogok, actually is named after a district in Seoul.
Yes, it is a really wealthy district of Seoul.
I wonder what the correlation is.
He actually lives there.
Okay,
That's why he named himself like that.
Okay. I was like, is that because he wants to be wealthy like Dogok? Or, you know? But I thought that was actually kind of amusing that the player would name himself that way. There have been other players in different esports that have done that, where they've named themselves after regions within Korea or within Seoul, and it's kind of like a pride thing, supposedly. But you know what, guys? I think it is time here. Let's take a look at the bands. Whoa, do you see this?
Finally, we have something different, right?
Do you see this?
So Ryuman has Warrior, Shaman, and Warlock. Dogok has Druid, Warlock, and Priest. And his Warrior got banned, but Dogok actually banned Druid from Ryuman's side. So he feels very comfortable matching this Warrior with his, well, any of his decks, but probably his Priest mostly.
I'm really happy just to see a Warrior deck that has gone through and not banned, and also a Priest deck. This is the first time we've seen that in the quarterfinals.
Yes, I love seeing Priest, and Priest has been I mean, the priest, it has been a pretty popular pick before the last expansion came out because they had a lot of answers like Entomb and Light Bomb and Holy Nova and Aconite Soul Priest and Circle Killing combo. But after some of those major cards were taken away from
Light
Priest,
Bomb.
yes,
Yeah.
Light Bomb, that is the key card, and a couple of other cards too. Something like the Death Lord and Sludge Belcher. Those cards were gone, so Priest actually lost a lot of his power in controlling the board and clearing the board, and that's why a lot of people have been staying away from the stack. But Dogok has the confidence to bring it.
He sure does, and we saw earlier what a Holy Fire can do. A Holy Nova, I'm sorry.
Holy Nova.
What a Holy Nova can do to a board. We got a little glimpse of it earlier. Thank you, Yog, for that. But we're gonna have to see how Dogok decides to play his deck here.
Yeah, I mean, Priest does have a pretty favorable matchup against any of the decks that Ryuman has, but there is that traditional issue that Priest has. You may have a favorable matchup, but if you don't draw the perfect cards at the right time, you're just sitting there doing absolutely nothing and taking a whole lot of damage and just losing.
All right, well, I think we're gonna go ahead into that first game. Here we go. First game here, set number 1, Ryuman versus Dogok. Or Ryuman's one of the ones who likes to rope as well, isn't he?
Yes, he definitely is. He was the one who said he contemplates on what he should have for dinner tonight.
So Rope Man versus Dogok here.
Wow, that is a very strong hand from the
Ooh.
Shaman.
On
Is
the
this a
Shaman side.
Bestiary from Dogok's side? We have seen his teammate Lojo have a lot of fun with this deck.
Oh, what do you go for here with the Finley?
I like the ping or the Priest Hero Power.
All right.
Yeah, the ping can effectively deal with the board. The healing is not too bad either against the Shaman. I think Ryuman already knows what kind of deck he's facing from that laugh that he had.
That little grin.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is probably Illusion's list. The good advantage that Ryuman has is that he is probably familiar with this list that he's facing right now.
He's going to go ahead and play his own Finley on Ryuman's side. And
he gets the shapeshift.
yep.
Is it worth to point out the tunnel trick? He doesn't think so. Okay. Oh, only if this Finley was a beast.
So what do we do here?
Now Dogok is like, what if I innervated out this Raptor last turn and used the Mercury Shards? But he didn't know that he was going to draw that. He can still use the Merc to make a favorable trade. I think it's totally worth it, although he's not going to get a draw. This 3/5 minion is pretty strong.
All right. Finley battle and Dogok wins. Ryuman at this point.
I like playing the Juggler first and see where the juggle hits. That is definitely the key point. If the Flame Juggler misses, there's a chance that he's even going to use a coin to play Urgent Squire.
Argent Squire. Okay. Argent Squire and...
Ryuman just laughing.
I don't know how I feel about him laughing. It almost makes me feel like he's already losing a bit of confidence here. He needs to make a good decision.
I mean, he definitely has a lot of ways to come back because he does have a lot more card than his opponent, and he also has the source of draw, the Ancestral Knowledge. I think he's first going to start with the Flame Juggler and see where the juggle hits.
Yep.
Yes.
And then coin into...
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like he could have saved on this coin Urgent Square if the juggle hit, but because it didn't, he is kind of forced to use an extra minion. If the Observer could move the mouse a little bit.
Thank you
to the
very
other
much,
side.
Observer. Okay. No. Mounted Raptor.
Dogok just needs cards like Living Roots or Wrath to use in synergy with the Fandor stack him, and he can gain control of the board very quickly.
Well, what can Ryuman do here?
The Tunnel Chog is going to die to either minion that Dogok has.
It's not worth putting that out just yet, unless with
Well, but
else.
I think he might have to.
Just for putting a body out on the
Yeah,
board?
instead of for the trade next turn with the hero power, maybe. If he uses hero power here, then he cannot use Ancestor Knowledge.
Right.
So his only line of play would be either hero power pass or hero power and Tunnel Trog. I mean, you obviously don't want to play this card. What about Tunnel Trog and Ancestor Knowledge?
Yeah, I think that's probably what he's going to do.
So this way he's just going to overload himself, and next turn, if he decides to not use any overload cards, he can actually equip the Doomhammer immediately.
All right, another Mounted Raptor for Dogok.
So Dogok can do Fandral, Innervate out, Druid of the Saber.
That would be a pretty strong board. And uses Finley to get rid of the
He could
Trog.
even do something like Fandral Hero Power with Innervate. That's not a bad choice either, because that way he can actually kill everything on the board.
Fandral.
But he's just gonna use Druid of Saber.
Yep, and Finley's just gonna go ahead and get rid of that Trog.
Yeah. Interesting. And Dogok actually decides to keep he actually decides to suicide his Finley over killing the Raptor and having full control of the board. Maybe he's trying to play around something like some AoE, like Elemental Destruction or Lightning Storm. But wow, this Flame Juggler going face twice in a row now.
I mean, Dogok does have control over the board right now, but he's playing one card at a time. We just need to see.
Yeah, this Innervate is not going to get much value from Dogok, because
No.
if this is a Beast Druid with a lot of tempo, then he's not going to have much of minion that costs more than 6 mana. I think the biggest minion that we saw from Lojim's deck was Stranglethorn Tiger.
I think that's the same here for Dogok.
Yeah, but Dogok can always draw into something like Wrath and get an extra minion to play. I think it's about time for him to suicide his Raptor than damaging the Fandor. Oh, he's just going to go face with everything.
Yeah,
all right,
straight
this
face.
is fine too. Yeah, Dogok should have 2 copies of Savage Roar in this deck if this is exact copy of what Lojim was playing. And he's threatening a lot of damage. And we know that Dogok is holding onto the Innervate, but
Yes.
Ryuman doesn't know it.
But Dogok right now, Innervate is all he's got. We're just going to have to see what he gets next turn. I like how Ryuman thinks, though. He's very expressive, and we can kind of see his thought process.
Yeah, he does have 2 Doomhammers at hand. You might as well just equip one, but you are going to be taking a lot of damage that way. I don't know. He might even go for something like Pharaoh Spirits and Flametongue Totem in the middle.
I think that would be a safer choice right now because he doesn't have any minions on the board. But no, he's going to go equip the Doomhammer.
Wow, he's taking a lot of damage this way. Oh, that's a good minion for Togo, too. So, Savage Roar would be lethal? Yes, that is Savage Roar!
Oh boy, then that's lethal.
That was a
He
pretty
says
sweet
thanks,
lethal.
guys. And that was probably the quickest game that we've seen so far in the quarterfinals here.
Yeah, especially from the Drew side.
I can't believe that.
Dogo's so excited that he got this win with the Beast Druid. He's like, Lojim, I believed in you, and I'm getting rewarded now.
Yes, he is. He's like, this is the Druid deck that I can handle. not the one I saw yesterday.
I don't think Dogok expected himself to win, and that's why he's so pleasantly surprised to see this work out.
And getting that first win has got to be a morale booster, for sure.
It definitely is.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, now that he's already got one win under his belt, he's just going to go ahead and push forward with, the other decks that he's got here. So, at this point, then, what does Ryuman do?
Well, at least, I don't know. I guess he has to continue with his Shaman.
Yeah.
I don't think Ryuman is be that scared about Priest because a lot of times Priests, they just sit there and do nothing and they just lose because of their own hands.
And they heal and heal and heal.
And the heal is never enough.
And it's never enough.
Point.
And it's just never enough. Yeah. So we'll have to see what the opening hand is going to be like and what kind of cards he draws early on.
Yeah, and I like the play line that Dogok was taking from the last game. He was going pretty aggressive during the midst of it and threatening lethal with the Savage Roar, and it worked out for him.
All right, well, here we go. We are going to go.
Dogok's really happy with this matchup.
Yes, he
Do you see that
is.
smirk?
He's so excited he can't contain himself right now. And as we go into game number 2. Ooh.
Ragnar's. This is a heavy control Priest deck.
Right,
so Priest traditionally has a very favorable matchup against Zulak. It was a little bit difficult when the Nerubian Egg and Haunted Creeper were around, but now because Zulak has lesser power in containing their board and having the minions stick around for longer turns, I think this might be a pretty easy matchup for Dogok, especially when he has that Agonized Soul Priest. He just needs to circle up healing now.
All right, Dogok's super excited. Oh, I think this is the most excited I've seen him. He's bouncing around in his chair right now and just wants to get this game started. Ryuman, gonna play that Voidwalker first.
And Embrace the Shadow, when the card first came out, I was a little bit confused about that card. But it actually works out really well because it actually has a 3rd copy of Agonized Soul Priest, and you can just deal immediate damage with Flash Heal or Circuit Healing and Hero Power.
Oh, is he going to go
with
a great... Oh!
Is he actually going to use us?
And take 3 to the face?
Get punished! That face from Dogok!
Oh.
Get punished right now!
Now he's recalculating everything. Can see his eyes. He's thinking right now. What does he do?
Something like Pyromancer and pointing out, but he's just gonna play this Doomsayer. He's not afraid of this Doomsayer dying. He just needs Abusive Surgeon. Ryuman just needs Abusive Surgeon, and he can actually deal with this Doomsayer. And then Dogok can use something else to deal with the board afterwards. But he's not afraid about this board at all.
All right, Ryuman.
Tap into
yeah, he's just going to go ahead. Oh, PO.
But is it worth that to use that?
I think he's going to just get rid of. How lucky is that?
Oh, wow. He got the combo. Like, Dogok doesn't even have to deal with this board at this point. Yeah, he's just gonna throw in the Acidic Swamp Ooze and just sit still and wait for the perfect turn to use that full clear on the board. Almost full clear, probably.
Just gonna sit there and wait for Ryuman to build up. Here is the Imp Gang boss.
Yeah, usually the Dirkshire Consummate is a very good top deck, but against Priest, the Shadow Word of Pain is always a card that you need to look out for. So Ryuman is trying to bait out one Shadow Word of Pain this way.
No, so let's see here. Dogok.
There's so many different routes that Dogok can take at this point.
Indeed.
Yeah, the M-Game boss is still a pretty tough minion to deal with from Priest's perspective, unless they have Shadow Word of Pain. But I don't think Dogok is really afraid of this board because he has the Wamba combo to clear the board. What is the best line of play?
Yeah.
I mean, Dogok could do something like Shadow Word, Embrace the Shadow, and Hero Power down the Crazed Alchemist and pop the Divine Shield. Or just, yeah, Hero Power and sit still. This is fine too.
Was there a way that he could have played that was a little more aggressive, do you think?
Yeah, but I don't think it's really worth it.
At this point in the game?
Yeah. And Ryuman already knows that Dogok does not have Shadow Word of Pain because he didn't deal with that end game boss when we had 2 extra mana.
Right. Defensive Argus.
But Ryuman doesn't want to play his Dark Shard Councilman unless he can make it a 4 attack, I guess.
It's not worth putting it out there. Dogok still has his coin.
So Embrace the Shadow first. And Hero Power Circuit Healing. So this way he's actually holding on to his Aconite Soul Priest. He does not have the second copy of Circuit Healing yet, but obviously you can use it next turn, like Aconite Soul Priest and Hero Power. I like that play from Dogok.
That was very clean. Dogok was able to get rid of just about everything.
Ryuman is definitely afraid of Cabal Shadow Priest. That is
Yeah.
a card
Oh,
that you
he's
have
just
to
realized
respect.
something.
Yeah, you're way too scared of playing the Dirty Consummate and giving it for free with the Cabal Shadow Priest, so I don't think you can really do that. But if you play all your 1-drops, that is also pretty darn weak to any AoE.
So yeah, I guess Flame Imp it's going to be.
Yeah, like Holy Nova is very scary, so is Cabal Shadow Priest. Ryuman thinks it's worse to get Cabal Shadow Priest than Holy Nova.
So he's just gonna play all of the low mana minions.
Dogok did take a lot of damage this way.
Shadow Word Pain.
Yeah, Dogok can do something like Pyromancer, Shadow Word of Pain, the Flame Imp, and kill everything except for the 1/1 Urgent Squire and Hero Power the Pyromancer. Leave it at 3/2. He could even do something like Aconite Soul Priest and Hero Power the Flame Imp. Because he probably wants to save the Pyromancer for something like Forbidden Ritual. And clean everything
Later on, right.
Yeah, but Dogok is taking a lot of damage, so yeah, I think this is fine too. Just getting rid of 3 minions on the board. And Hero Powering the Pyromancer to keep that alive from the Urgent Squire. Oh, he's even going to use a coin. He doesn't see much value in it. He could have saved this coin and coined out the Ragnar's next turn. So I don't know if I agree with this line of play, but Dogok's like, yeah, as long as I keep the board alive.
Spanking clean. That's
Yes.
pretty much what he's looking for. And that Dark Shadow Councilman has finally come out with a Possessed Villager.
All right, Cabal Shadow Priest, let's do this.
Yep. Ah.
And here comes down the Aconite Soul Priest that has been saved.
He has both. Well, he had both in his hand, so he's got one for later.
Ooh. That's actually a really big drop, but
Good
we know that
Doom
Dogok has an awesome answer to that.
Just gonna go straight face, and Dogok is now down to 10 HP.
Yeah, he can just use Entomb and Hero Power. I'd much rather do Entomb over Shadow Word of Death because it's a more expensive spell and you might as well just get rid of that card. I mean, you could argue that it was better to use Death because Entomb doesn't have any condition to it. You can take away anything, whereas the Death, it only activates to a minion with 5 attack or more. But yeah, if Dogok just Hero Powers her and uses the Aconite Soul Priest and Circuit Healing again, I think that's probably GG for Ryuman.
And Ryuman with no cards in his hand right now, he's just kind of...
What about Hero Power, Aconite Soul Priest, and Circuit Healing, and even putting down the Doomsayer, so that way you can heal and play Ragnar's next turn?
Huh.
I think it's really worth that. Yeah, because it's going to be an empty board at Ryuman's hand, unless he plays something like Possessed Villager, then Rag is going to deal 8 damage to face. Almost certainly.
Almost certainly. He needs to, yeah.
I think that is the best line of play, and Dogok sees it as well, hopefully. I think it's really worth it to drop this Doomsayer. Oh, he doesn't go for it.
Oh, he's got a Dark Peddler, which is a little hopeful.
This juggle is so important. Oh, he even gets a coil. But the juggle actually hit.
Mortal Coil being the only card in Ryuman's hand right now, though.
Yeah, I just wish that Dogok played the Doomsayer last turn because that card is just going to be there forever.
There forever.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to kill his own Ragnars, obviously. Right. I don't know. I'm so sad. I think it was a slight misplay from Dogok to not play the Doomsayer. Dogok can even use a flash heal to make sure that he stays alive. I think it's totally worth it.
I mean, is that the safer route?
I mean, he could do something like Doomsayer, Hero Power, and flash heal himself. But you can't really tell if that's the safest line of play. Because if this juggler does something funky and kills off the Doomsayer, then you're in a worse spot.
Well, he is.
Yeah, you might as well just go for the Rag when there are only 2 targets. He even uses a flash hill. I like this play.
Where is it gonna go? Oh, and it goes to face.
Only face.
Rag to the face, and he taps.
Yeah, so Ryuman, that is his last chance to tap now.
Absolutely.
He's gonna draw with the Mortal Coil. Oh, he even gets.
What's he get? Oh, and he gets a taunt.
Right, Excavated Evil, let's do this.
This could be it. Depends on what Rag wants to do.
So Doomsayer, yes.
Yes.
Doomguard and Hero Power. So 20% chance for Dogok to just win right off the bat.
Come on, Rag. What's it gonna be?
Wow!
Wow!
Twice in a row.
And Dogok takes that second win.
Yeah, I do still think that it was slight misplay from Dogok to not play the Doomsayer before setting up for his Ragnars. But, I mean, this is what Ragnars does sometimes. He just gives face. Usually, it's not a good thing to happen, but in this case, it worked out perfectly.
That was amazing. Rag almost knew exactly what Dogok wanted and was able to win that game for him.
Dogok wanted. You said Doa instead?
No, I said Dogok.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said Doa.
or Doa. Doa, are you watching? That would have been you. No. No, Ragnars knew what Dogok wanted. Doa might have wanted that too. I think Doa might have been cheering for Dogok and he wanted that.
Probably.
Yes. I'm going to go with that theory. But great play there. Dogok again winning at the second match and
yeah, a great play by Ragnars, not by Dogok necessarily.
Okay, fine. So at this point now, you're down 2 games. If you're Ryuman, what do you do to keep yourself focused?
Well, Dogok right now, he only has Druid left, so Ryuman definitely has to play something that is good against Druid. But again, Druid is a class that can do some wild things with a Wild Growth and Innervate.
Right.
There are so many things, it's
so versatile.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a versatile...
Especially when using the mana curve and finding out the right minions to play.
So what does Ryuman bring to the table?
I mean, all his decks are pretty strong against Druid, so he can pretty much go with anything.
And what's it gonna be? I'm just super happy to see this warrior.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Dogok actually had Warlock left instead of Druid.
Oh, misread that. Yes, because the Druid won the first game, right?
Yeah, and for the first time in the English podcast, we are going to see Warrior.
I am very happy to see this Warrior deck. All right, already here we can see Possessed Villager is going to be played first. We have 2/1/1 minions on the board.
And that Alex Jaws champion is going to do a lot of work. Zoo is already getting overridden on the board. I guess you have to go for the endgame boss and make it more difficult for Ryuman to deal with. Wow, and because Ryuman got another dragon in hand, that's why he feels comfortable playing this fairy dragon just as a 3/2 minion on the board, because that Twilight Guardian is still gonna get full value next turn when he plays that. Is Dogok gonna tap? I don't think he can tap here.
I don't know if he should.
What about just playing the Forbidden Ritual?
Forbidden Ritual, get 3 tentacles on the board.
Yeah, and try to set up for the Sea Giant if possible. I mean, obviously you are scared about Ravaging Ghoul, but you can't play around that forever.
3 tentacles. And an imp.
Ravaging Ghoul would be
so sick. But
yeah, it'd be GG for Ryuman.
Yeah.
But he does not get it.
No, the Berserk.
I like the Twilight Guardian here over the Berserker.
The Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, it's just such a sturdy minion. So he's actually gonna leave. Ryuman's actually gonna leave the endgame boss up.
Right, he's just chipping away at the board right now.
Crazy Alchemist is actually a pretty sick draw from Dogok. He could play another Forbidden Ritual, or he could tap, or he could play Flame Imp.
Would it be... He could use the Crazed Alchemist onto the Twilight Guardian, just get rid of him. Would that be worth it?
Yeah, it's totally worth it. This is probably the second best minion to use a Crazed Alchemist on, and Dogok is gonna actually hold on to that Forbidden Ritual.
Get himself one more imp and clear that away.
He is getting awful close to the 15 HP. The safe lane against Draconic Crusher.
Yep. Get that 9/9. Slam. Oh, and that Frothing Berserker now.
It's going to be 6/4.
6/4. In just one turn. Oh.
I thought Dogok was going to go for the Gym Guard, but now that he got the Soulfire out,
now that he's got the Soulfire, but then...
There's a chance that he definitely wants to discard his Sea Giant if he does play the Soulfire here.
Yeah.
And do something like Soulfire, Forbidden Ritual. He's gonna
go for it.
Which
and
one
hope
did he discard?
Oh.
Actually, this could be better for him because he has a Forbidden Ritual, so he can actually play the Sea Giant next turn if none of the minions die.
Oh, he's just gonna go ahead and use it.
Yep.
As a 6/6.
So Ryuman is not respecting the Sea Giant this way. And he's gonna get heavily punished for this line of play.
Yes.
Wow, he can actually kill the 6/6 Draconic Crusher and play Sea Giant this way.
And Ryuman's just like, oh no, the Sea Giant. What can he do to answer
Ryuman
that?
needs Execute right now, and he even has to sacrifice Quirk and Lead even if he gets that.
He got 2 of them, but he only has 7 mana here.
Double Drake though. That's not gonna do much.
Double Crocon, double Drake, nope. So he's just gonna Hero Power, armor up a bit.
Wow.
Oh.
This is actually, this abuse Distortions is actually really sick because Dogok can keep the Sea Giant 8/8 at full HP and make it stay alive against Execute unless Ryuman has an activator for Execute. I think he has to use a double Quirk and Lead and kill the Sea Giant if he wants to stay alive.
I think so too.
Or he could kill the Councilman.
He is going double Quirk
and do the value trade. He is going to go for the value trade. Okay.
And keep the Sea Giant alive?
Yeah, he's just being very hopeful that way. Because if Ryuman does draw Execute, then he can do Blackbeam Corruptor and Execute on the Sea Giant.
Yes. But 8 to the face does hurt. He does not get the Execute. I'm not sure if Finley's really going to be able to help him in this point.
If he gets ping, then he can kill it with the Black Wing. No, never mind because of the taunt. What if he gets life tap?
If he gets life tap, doesn't really have much more life to tap, unfortunately. One more win for Dogok and Ryuman's out.
That's his only way of killing the Sea Giant, though. He needs to get life tab and life tab into execute and use it with Blackwing Corruptor.
Okay, he's gonna armor up.
This way, even if he gets execute, he's not gonna have enough mana to play it after life tap.
And he doesn't get life tap. What do you choose? Yep, he went for heal. 3 damage to the Voidwalker. But that Sea Giant. I mean,
so
already,
Dogok
yeah.
just needs 4 damage. PO would do it. Soulfire would do it. He can draw.
Oh, he could draw
Soulfire
one.
PO.
What'll it be?
Oh no, he didn't get it.
Okay.
Well, Finley is definitely
you're
a no-no. He's probably gonna go for either of the taunts.
I guess a Voidwalker. Yeah, he's gonna go with the Voidwalker. Eight to the face.
Yeah, I like this.
Yes,
I think you definitely go face with a Sea Giant at this point.
And thanks to this Voidwalker now.
So, execute.
No. Oh. Nope, I think this is it, and Ryuman knows it.
That is it. That is a 3-0 from Dogok.
Oh, Azure Drake, why didn't you give him the execute that he needed? All right, Ryuman is just counting it out, making sure that there is absolutely no
there's just
other
no way
option
to
that he
kill
can do.
this Sea Giant at all.
Yep, and he knows it. He knows that that's it. Dogok wins 3-0.
That was a very quick series.
But this guy, again, mental fortitude. He was the fan favorite. He was the community vote. And here he is. He's going to go ahead to next week's games now.
And because Ryuman has lost 2 games in a row, so he's completely out of this tournament and we will never see him again. But the other 2 players, they still have a chance.
That makes it sound so sad. We'll never see him ever again.
Well, not in this tournament,
Not in
but
this
maybe
tournament.
in other future tournaments he's going to be back. Hopefully.
Hopefully. He did, come with some great games, and he made it all the way to the quarterfinals. I really do wish him best of luck in the next tournament that he is a part of. But Dogok now, he's going to go ahead and play next week and see if he can continue his reign over into the semifinals. He's going to play some of the guys who had made it from Group A, and we'll have some really awesome. Who are the guys playing from Group A?
So Transit and Kyron
That's
are
right.
the 2 people from Group A, and Dogok and Tail are the 2 players from Group B. So all 4 of these players are going to face each other to find out who make it to the semifinals.
Yes, we will see that next week. But you know what? Here is the result, guys. Icarus 3, Tail 2. That was the first game. And now we have Ryuman and Dogok. Dogok winning 3-0. All 3 decks have won.
Very swift victory from
Very
Dogok.
swift, yeah. And I do feel bad for Ryuman. Here is the brackets, guys. Icarus made it out, and next week we will see Tail versus Dogok.
Yes.
Yep, I believe that's it. So, here it is, next matchup. Next week, next Thursday, July 14th at 7 p.m. KST, we'll have Transit versus Kyron, that's Group A, and Tail versus Dogok, and that's Group B. And this is really exciting. We're coming down to the wire, to the last bits of this tournament, and it's a lot of fun to see, just because, again, these crazy decks that we really didn't expect, especially in a time where the meta, you kind of expect to see the same things over and over again.
Yeah, the meta is definitely solidified by now.
Yeah, I think it's really refreshing to see some variations and some surprises coming along.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Transit, he likes to impress people. He likes to impress the fans and the audience. And I'm sure that he's going to bring something a little bit more interesting and different.
I really hope so. But guys, hang tight. We will be back next week, Thursday, same time here at Inven Global. My name is Susie Kim. This is HearthStone, and we're going to bid you good night.